and I'm back with another video. I wanted to say today, unfortunately, my February wrap-up video, something happened with the file when I was switching it from my phone to my laptop, meaning that it's a bit corrupt, I think. So unfortunately, I have to, yeah, I can't upload it for you because it just won't. So it won't render it, so I don't know what to do with that. But I mentioned in that video that I'm trying something new. I'm filming on my phone because I feel like I have some issues with the Technic stuff from my G7X camera. It won't film in HD. I hope that this will, although the previous one didn't film in HD either, even though the settings here are for 1080 over 60, I think. I can film on my phone in 4K, but I feel like that's a little out there considering it's just like a sit-down video. I don't know what's going on with that. But I decided to try this out one more time and see if it works out for me. I think the audio sound is a little bit better in this one than it was in my G7X. It's definitely different, so yeah. Anyway, this week's I'm doing a wrap up of the things that I finished over the past week. Over the last week, I've managed to read 3 books, so it's definitely a decent reading week for me. The first thing that I finished was The Beekeeper's Apprentice by Laurie King. It's part of my vlog of reading books that were published in 1994. This is up on my channel, so you can go and watch it if you want to. This book is the first in a series that follow Mary Russell, who becomes an apprentice to Sherlock Holmes. In the beginning of this book, we meet her and she is 15 years old and she meets Sherlock Holmes when she's out on a sort of walk. And they sort of strike a friendship type of bond in the beginning. And then she starts to go, when things starts going in this one, she moves to Oxford to start studying at college, at university, but still when her time's off, she visits Sherlock Holmes and helps him out with different things, and sort of in that way. But she starts obviously stumbling upon little cases here and there and starts to solve them for herself. And then later on, there's a bigger case coming along, and she definitely has to deal with a lot of things with that. But obviously, Sherlock is helping her as well as Mycroft and Watson. They are also helping out in the way that they can, and it builds up a really good, solid mystery. And one of the things that I really enjoy about this book is that it has really, really great writing. I love Laurie King's writing style. It's just something that really jives with me. I knew that before I even went into this, but it definitely solidified that I can sit and read a book by her and be really immersed in the story, because it's just a really interesting writing style, and she's able to create characters and the bonds between the characters to really float really well. So in that way, it's really, really good. Hold on, I'm just moving the camera a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, that was one of the things that really stood out to me in this one, the character work and the writing style. The mystery itself was also really, really interesting. I hadn't seen the outcome of it, but it was a really good mystery to follow as well. And yeah, I really liked Mary herself. Is just such a good character. She has sort of a good personality, and yeah, I had to run it through Copilot because I'm really unsure about the rating, but it just came out at a 5 out of 5 stars. So really happy to say that I started off this month with a 5-star reads. That was really incredible. And yeah, happy to say that it happened. Next thing I finished is The Princess and Rebel Billionaire. I'll put a cover of it up here because I think it's easier, because this is 2 books. It looks like I'm not done, but it is 2 books in one, so I'm gonna put it down. This one is by Sophie Pembroke. It is a standalone book. It's the beginning of a series, sorry. The other one that I read by her was a standalone. It's the beginning of the series, but she doesn't write all of the books in this series, so yeah. But this one follows our female lead, who she is a princess in this small country. I've forgotten right now what it was called, but it's sort of a fictional kind of country where she's a princess. She's 3rd in line, so she doesn't really have any thing she has to do in the future necessarily. And then we follow our male hero. He is a race car driver and just won the world championships in this whatever championship he's racing for. But after that, he sort of injured his leg because he's sort of one of those people who's a risk taker, and he went cliff diving and sort of broke his neck, his knee or his thigh or whatever. One of his legs were pretty busted up pretty badly. And so he has been sort of in sort of recovery mode, but the coach is still not ready for him to go driving. So he he sends him on to this dating agency thing that's like really luxurious. It says that they will find the perfect match for them, and they will have to spend a week together, just those two, in this mansion of a house, in this lovely little island, in somewhere, I forgot if it's in like the Mediterranean Sea or something like that, but it's definitely somewhere very warm and nice for the year. And yeah, they not a long time happens before they have a sort of instant sort of connection stuff. Yeah, but they are so different in their lives, and she's very upfront about her being a princess from the get-go, so that he knows what he's dealing with, and that they're both in it not to gain anything out of this. They're just in it to have sort of a fun, campy time and a little bit of away time from the normal life, but they know that they're not going to look for a love interest in that way. And it continues that over the whole week, although their romances start. I end up really enjoying this one. I read it in 2 sittings. It was like an easy romance piece to read that I could just swallow up in a couple of hours. So definitely enjoyed that for that way. And I think I prefer this one over the other Sophie Pembroke book that I read. So I end up giving this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. So I'm really happy about my reading so far this month. I definitely will check out more books by Sophie Pembroke, no matter where she writes for this category thing. Yeah, really enjoying that. The other book, the last and final book that I read over the past week was The Other Half of the Grave. I said in my February TBR, March TBR thing, the TBR that I did previously, that I wanted to read a different book, but that was turned out to be the 9th book. But this one is actually the first book, but from Bones' perspective. So it's considered the 8th book in the series. So I decided to read this one. And although it was a fun time being back with this series and the beginning of this, how they met and everything, I think if I wanted to read that, I would have reread the first one instead. Bones is an interesting character. I don't mind him at all. But I think that it also shows that I have changed my reading habits a little bit and my opinions about books a little bit since I read this the first time. But I don't know what to say about this one. I liked it. It was fun, but I think I would have preferred just seeing a new story, but from Bones' perspective, not necessarily one that's already happened. And there were definitely some things from the beginning of this series that I've forgotten about. So it was also interesting in that way. But I end up giving this, I think, 3 out of 5, 3.5 stars probably. I haven't really put a rating on it, but I feel like it's a 3.5 stars because it was fun, it was enjoyable, but it was not new, obviously, because I've read it before, but from a different perspective. So yeah, that's where we landed with that one. So 3 books over the past week. Yeah, I'm definitely happy with that progress. And so to let you know what I'm currently working on, I have an audio going of Ghost of Gloom and the Four Terrors. I'm enjoying that one quite a lot. I don't know how far I'm into it. I feel like I'm over halfway now. I think I had an hour left of the audio, and it's in my speed, and it was 2.5 hours in my speed. So I've listened to like an hour and a half, probably. Around that time, but I'm enjoying that one. I think I have a hard time remembering the first couple of books right now, but I think that I might prefer this one over the others, but as I said, it could be just me. But I think it feels like a good, decent book right now. Things are happening, so it's a little bit, a lot of things going on. But I'm also currently working on 3 different books. First up, I'm working my way through Night of Darkness by Kelly McGregor. I'm reading this with Shannon from Shannon Riddler, and I saw that she just read the next chapter, so I definitely need to do that. But I have about, I think, 60 pages left of this, so I might definitely finish it over the next week, that's for sure. I'm also working my way through Dream Fever by Cameron Monning. I don't know how much I've been reading from this, probably only about 50 pages. I think I have about 60 something pages of this as well, so could definitely also finish that over the week. We'll see. I'm prioritizing the body read first, and then the other book afterwards. But it's one of those books that I'm reading before bed right now, so that's what's happening. Another book that I'm currently working on is A Renegade Protector by Nico Rosso. I believe I'll actually finish that today. It's Monday when I'm filming this, so I have I'm on page 162, and it's 219 pages long, so definitely will finish that, I think, today, because I have this week off, so I have extra reading time, and I'm probably going to go into the garden in a moment and just sit out there with a cup of coffee and reading the last bit. We'll see what ends up happening. But those are the things that I'm currently working on. I also have plans for the next week. I hope to read the last one in this collection, so I can get a couple of books off my TBR, and then I don't know if I'm going to read another intrigue. We'll see. But I'm currently working on a category romance vlog, so you'll see whenever I finish that one. Yeah, so those are my plans right now and what I'm currently working on. Let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading over the past week. Have you read any of the books that I've been talking about today, and what were your thoughts on them? And also, yeah, just let me know you're here. Anyway, this is everything I have for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video very soon. Goodbye.